Hello you guys, and welcome to today's tutorial. Let's go ahead and take a look at working in Premiere Pro. This is our first lesson. We're going to take a look at creating a new project, setting up our sequence, and importing assets. I'm going to go ahead and, with the welcome screen open, I'll go ahead and click the new project icon, and that's going to bring me to the new project dialog box. There's a lot going on in here, you guys. Right now we're going to leave everything as is. We're not going to touch it. I do want you guys to take the time to navigate out to the location and save this to your History of Cinema folder. Remember, we have created a folder called History of Cinema inside of the ThoughtSpace, inside of your personal folder that's inside of the period that you're in. So be sure to click the browse button. Of course, my navigation window looks a lot different than yours, but remember, you're going to navigate to the ThoughtSpace, the Fall 2013 folder, and then the period that you're in. You should have a folder with your name. You should also have created a folder called History of Cinema. If not, go ahead and select your folder. Click the Make a New Folder button. Name the folder History of Cinema, and then press Enter to accept the name change. You now have a folder, so select it. I'm going to do that as well. I navigate on my Mac to the desktop, Fall, and I'm going to create a folder called History of Cinema. So on the desktop, inside of my Fall folder, I'll create a folder called Mr. Wims. And I'm going to create a folder called History of Cinema. We also talked about creating a folder called Images, so I'll create a folder called Images. And you can see now I'm pointing to my Images folder inside of the History of Cinema. I'll go ahead and name this project History of Cinema. And I'll add my name. Perfect. I'll click OK. And now we're confronted with the new sequence dialog box. Because we're going to be making video for standard definition, we're going to go to the DV NTSC folder and select the standard 48 preset. If you want, you can take a look at some of the preset descriptions just to familiarize yourself, but don't worry too much about this today. I'll go ahead and select this and call this History of Cinema. So you might be saying, hey, what's a sequence? Well, a sequence is a place where you add your pictures, your music, your video to assemble your final movie. Every time you start a project, you're going to create a sequence so that when you begin to add your assets, which are your music, your pictures, your video, you'll add them to the sequence. If we take a look at our basic setup in Premiere Pro, to make sure we're all on the same page, let's go up to Window, Let's choose workspace and make sure you have editing selected and go down to reset current workspace. When prompted, click yes or OK, and it should reset your workspace back to its original layout. Now that we have that reset, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the main windows. We have our project panel, which is where you're going to be importing your assets. The source monitor is where you're going to be previewing your video or assets before you add them to your project. The program monitor is where you'll be viewing your movie as you build it. And then you have your timeline. The timeline and the program monitor are identical, and you'll see why that is in just a moment. We also have our media browser, which is what you can use to import assets as well. Take a look at files on your computer. Some of you guys may have noticed, hey, where there's a tab back here that says effects controls and audio mixer and metadata. Yeah, there's extra tabs in the back. But right now we're going to focus on the main tabs. To bring a tab forward, you can see you can select its name. I'll bring that media browser back. Okay. So first thing we want to do is import some pictures, and we'll do that in our next video.